Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we have a special episode. We are doing an interview with Gary Moat from the band Burnt Out Wreck. He is the ex-drummer for Heavy Petting from the 80s. This is a great interview. This is a great record. Please stay tuned and enjoy. Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and I want to welcome Gary Moat of Burnt Out Wreck here today. You know Gary's work. They've put out 3 records. We're going to get into that and talk about that. The latest record was Stand and Fight that came out November 18th of last year, and we're going to hit that. But Gary was also in the band Heavy Petting, which was back in the 80s. In fact, they were in that whole time span from like 81 to 89. And then Gary, we're going to talk about what Gary did after that. So without any further ado, let's jump right in and let's see what Gary has going on. Gary Moat, welcome to the show. Glad to see you. And before we start, though, I must say something. Prior to this interview, I was unfamiliar with your work. I have a story, though. I knew who Heavy Petting was, and I remember seeing that second Heavy Petting album out in the stores. I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing right now. But I was aware of the band. I hadn't heard anything. But so I know who you are, kind of. But I never checked any of that stuff out. But when we were doing this interview, and we're going to talk about the newest record, Burnt Out Wreck, Stand and Fight, I'll tell you, I was totally blown away. And you are the type of artist I definitely want to cover on my show, because my show is all about talking about these bands and promoting these bands that people should know about. And when I was listening to this record, which I've listened to probably for 2 weeks, I thought, my God, this would fit perfectly on FM rock radio. Based on, like, in Columbus, Ohio, they're playing a lot of Motley Crue. They're playing a lot of Dokken. I mean, this record would fit right in there, I must say. And I don't know, maybe we can get it going here in Ohio. Hell, I don't know. But anyway, welcome to the show. I got to get that out of the way. And how are you doing? And
yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on. And
of course,
doing
this is
great.
great.
And I can see what you're saying about the new album. And but then that's because I'm from that period in time, the 80s,
Right.
and you carry it with you. So the songs are it's always been in my head, that kind of thing. So
But
I'm
if
bringing
people
it
are,
out now.
but if people are thinking this sounds like Heavy Petting, it doesn't. This is a
No,
totally
not at
different
all.
animal. Totally different animal. Totally different, kids.
Yeah.
But I don't know how. I'm just curious. But how did you end up? Before we get to the record, I'm just curious. On this record, you sing, you play guitar. Now I know on the Heavy Petting stuff, and of course you wrote all the tunes.
Yep.
And you did a lot of co-writing on the Heavy Petting stuff too. You've
Well,
always written. You've always have been a writer.
yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Like back in the day when you were like a kid. Let's go back real early. What was like the first thing you ever heard of that musically you heard and you went, holy crap, it really connected to you, that kind of started you on this career in music? I always like that because I have a Beatles story that everyone knows, but I'm just curious, Gary, what really grabbed you back when you were a kid?
Uh, like you say, obviously, I was born in '61, so we're talking my mother playing Beatles songs,
Yeah.
and I remember watching Speedy Gonzales and stuff on a little tiny black and white screen, and
Mm-hmm.
TV in the living room. So we were probably lucky, I guess, to have that back
Yeah.
in when I was before I was 5 anyway. But songs wise, yeah, like I say, Beatles, whatever my mother was into, and then a program obviously as I'm getting up towards 10 years of age called Top of the Pops. So you're
Mm-hmm.
watching all the bands, and round about that kind of time, I suppose then you start thinking, okay, so I like the pop stuff, but what's this heavier sort of sound? What's this rock,
Mhm.
people with long hair, and that kind of thing, So I was drawn to that, and funny because I'm going to say the Osmonds, maybe,
Well, you can say the Osmonds here.
and crazy horses, you know,
Okay, yeah.
because that track is absolutely rock and roll. It's just bonkers. And so if I was, I must have been about 10 or something when that came out,
Yeah.
I'd reckon. And so, that T-Rex suite, anything coming through that was
Hmm.
rock, but not the older generation, which is Sabbath, Zeppelin,
Hmm.
that's before my time,
Yeah.
I come in after that and come into Status Quo and Thin Lizzy and then AC/DC
Hmm.
and then the list is obviously endless,
Well, you mentioned those bands. I mean, I could hear those influences on this record. I mean, to some degree, you know.
Yeah,
I think a lot
yeah.
of people say that AC/DC reference, but I think I see a combination of things. But that's
I,
what you get when you grow up in your time in that time period. Those
I,
are all going to influence your work, you know.
I think that's right, but the same people should just think, where did AC/DC get this from? It's from the blues. It's
Hmm.
like, where did Angus come from? He came from Chuck Berry, not from his loins, but he came from Chuck Berry. He
All
watched
those
him.
riffs are Chuck Berry,
He watched him
pretty
goose
much.
stepping up and down the duck walking, and with his guitar on stage, and where did all the blues artists get the blues and just keep playing the blues? And the blues is still the blues that it was
Yeah.
years and years ago.
Hmm.
It's not moved on. It's still the same thing. So I just say that what I'm playing is blues rock, and I happen
Yeah.
to sing that kind of register that puts you out into the AC/DC, Crocus,
Except,
Airborne.
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah, except, love Accept, we toured in the States with Accept in
back in the
'84,
day.
back in the day,
Nice.
very good. So, yeah, yeah, I mean, Udo's got a higher range than myself, of course.
No,
He's a
but I
man.
thought your vocals when I heard them, I went, "Holy crap!" I mean, this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
serious stuff. I mean, I did not listen to anything prior to picking these up, knowing we were going to do this because I wanted to just
Okay,
listen to it, put it on on my system and listen to it.
okay,
Now, the
yeah.
thing that I thought, man, the production on this new record, Stand and Fight. Let me throw it up there for kids. Um, the production sounds really good. Like you talk about a lot of things bring brick wall or whatever that it sounds too compressed. This sounds kind of pretty dynamic, and I can all the instruments I can hear.
Yeah,
Your vocals sound great. I don't know. Listen, you had what was the engineer on here? Oh, help me.
that's Steve
Steve.
Rispin.
Holy
Steve
crap.
Rispin.
I think
Uh,
this record sounds phenomenal.
yeah, I mean, he sees and he's just an awesome guy. He's
Hmm.
worked with many prog bands actually.
Right.
But he he's he's about the same age as me. I think he's a couple of years younger, and he has just got a great set of ears, and he understands what I'm trying to do. So
Hmm.
instantly, we were like, yeah, yeah, we got chalk and cheese, we're straight in there, and that was it.
Well,
No
it's
worries.
good. Well, it's good to be on that same wavelength, or you find
Yeah,
someone that you
definitely.
can work with like that, especially like an engineer or a producer or anything. Holy mackerel. Yeah, he
Yeah,
produced Asia and Yes, or some of the
yeah,
two bands he produced.
yeah, and many more.
Yeah. So that's good. I did see in the liner notes you mentioned Steve Lillywhite in the thanks.
Yeah, thanks to Steve. Yeah.
Steve have anything to do with this too?
No.
Other than
no.
he's made some great records, I'll give him that.
Yes, no. He just he offered some great advice,
Oh,
and it was very good of him to do so. And so, big thanks to Steve.
yeah. Well, I
Big
love his
thanks.
work. I'm just gonna say he's one of my favorite producers.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know. XTC, obviously XTC. Love that.
Yes, there it is. Yep.
But I was just curious. The other thing, I'm kind of jumping all. I'm sorry if I'm jumping
It's
all
okay.
over.
It's okay.
But we know what your early. I'm just curious. This drives me crazy because I play guitar and bass and stuff. But when you were how old did you start out playing? And did you start out playing guitar, or did you pick that up later, or were you a drummer? Because
Yeah.
I must say the drums on the heavy petting stuff is killer. Though I do have a question about that second album. But anyway, sorry, see, I'm going to get all over the place.
Okay, so start out. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
pots and pans in my mum's
Mhm.
kitchen. Get them out and let's watch Top of the Pops.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a couple of wooden spoons and off we go. So drumming, definitely.
Okay.
That was my number one when I was about 9. Probably I started
Yeah.
that. About 2 years later, I think my dad tried to take me for some lessons.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to this flat with a band. They all lived in the same flat. A
Yeah.
bunch of hippie kind of dudes, and I turned up at that age, just a wee guy, just scared, thinking, where am I going? And my dad's like, I'll just go to the pub across the road, right? Leave you here with this bunch of freaks. And you're like,
Right.
so I just go
All
in there
right,
and they go,
Dad. All right, here we go.
yeah, thanks. The guy says to me, okay, let's hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, da, boom, boom, da. So I'm sat there doing that. And he goes, I'll just go and make a cup of tea. He buggers off and leaves
Mhm.
me sat there thinking, oh, I better just keep going because he's listening, isn't he? He's listening. He comes back in and he says, okay, that's great. And then my dad appeared back about half an hour later.
Mhm.
And the guy says, he says, okay, I'll bring him back next week. And the guy says, no, don't bother. He can play. He can play. He's playing a beat. He hasn't stopped playing that beat since I went and made a
I think
cup of
just let
tea.
him go. See what happens.
So that was the only lesson that I ever
That's
had.
amazing.
So that was it. I mean, I don't. I can't read music or anything. It's all just out of
Yeah, but for this stuff,
myself.
pop music, you don't need to. Beatles never learned to read anything.
Yeah, yeah,
That didn't stop them.
yeah.
You know.
So that's where it all began.
So you got how long before you got your first kit?
Um, Round about the same time, 11, 12,
Yeah.
ended up with a little 3-piece Woolworths kit, and out of the store Woolworths, and yeah, just a little. But I destroyed it, because I was playing, like I say, T-Rex and stuff on it, and Status Quo, and trying to hammer it out, and I broke it to bits.
Oh my.
Um, and no, parents were best pleased, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I begged and begged and begged and did odd jobs for everything just to try and get him to buy me a kit. So he bought me a kit and a proper Premier kit.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, second-hand Premier kit, and it was just great. So, after that, everything went downhill when I became just drumming mad. Schoolwork, everything went out the window, and that left me just banging away there in the
Because
spare room.
I mean, a lot of that, at least that first heavy petting album, I mean, you're all over it. I mean, the second album, I do have a question though. Though we're not here to talk heavy petting, but there seems like a lot of drum machine on that one, and I don't know if that's what it is or not.
It's
Or
it's
Simmons or something.
no, it's a Fairlight machine.
Mm.
You know, you know.
So
If
it
you
was
if you
sampled.
well, yeah, if you go back in the day, and as soon as Mutt Lang introduced, that for Def Leppard,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and start programming that, then that was it. And I get sent away to by the record company. Right, you go and sit with this guy who's got one of these machines. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's got the manual out, and how do we do this? He don't know how to do it. And I'm sat there going, yeah, no, I don't go like that. It goes, crazy days. But I sat there for,
Well, it was kind of exciting. I mean, there was a lot of, if you think about the 80s and that, there was a lot of new technology.
well, yeah,
Technology left and
yeah,
right, and
yeah,
bands were just grabbing onto it and trying to use whatever they could use.
yeah. It wasn't necessarily that we wanted to do that. It was just that
Mm,
everybody then coming out in the early 80s there, because Def Leppard had made such a big impact in the
mhm.
world, and I bet that sound, like I say, from Mutt, that was just ridiculous. So everybody then thought, well, look at these guys are doing commercially, so we want our bands to do that. So they started sending everybody in to do that, you
Y-
know.
You know, it's
And
funny.
it didn't work for everybody, you know.
Yeah.
It worked for them because that was how they done it, you know.
You know, I know we're talking Def Leppard, but if you listen to like Highway to Hell, or if you even listen to Foreigner 4, none of
Yeah,
those records sound anything like any of the Def Leppard stuff. So I'm assuming that was where it all began when they developed that. And I can see why everybody would kind of, I don't want to say you patterned it, but I think everybody was probably influenced by that sound. But it's funny because you listen to Highway to Hell, Foreigner 4, those records don't sound anything like that.
yeah,
You know, it's just, I
yeah.
don't know, just interesting.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. No, you it should be natural at all times, you know, and you know, many people in the past have had massive drum sounds. It's not that
mhm.
it wasn't the way to go, but that was the way that you were sort of pushed towards, you know.
I mean, had you been in the studio prior to the heavy petting stuff? Had you been into I don't know what your history prior to that was. Were you in any other bands as far as anything that was, had you recorded in the studios? Basically, I want to know.
Yeah, we'd been in and out of studios. I mean, basically from the age of like 13, 14, um, you know, you had Gordon Bono in
Mm-hmm.
from Heavy Pen.
Mm-hmm.
You had myself playing drums, Gordon guitar, and Brian Waugh playing bass. So we were called quite a few names, but
Yeah, I saw one
but we were called Weeper, and
Weeper.
then
Yeah.
and then we became a two guitar band, and we played a lot of Thin Lizzy, a lot of Status Quo. We played a lot of covers, and then as we got older into our late teens, we started going into recording studios and recording our own stuff.
Hmm.
You know, so eventually we became Heavy Pettin in early 80s,
Right.
when we made it a 5-piece and decided to get a singer and, you know, front man and that.
Really go for it, so to
And try and
speak.
go for it, yeah, and you know, so but the three of us were always there because we were the three people that were there forever, you
For
know.
the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and all songwriting and all together, you know. It's all from back in that time.
And since we're talking about that real quick, I just want to mention to everybody that those heavy petting CDs have been re-released, and Gary's got his own label that he's put those out through. So if you do search for those and you have any interest in those are available. So
Well, yeah, they're out on a label called Burnt Out Records, you know, and basically that
like
is,
here's one. This is the third record that was delayed.
yeah,
I don't, yeah, it's an interesting story. But anyway, yeah, he's got
yeah,
his own label. So go ahead. You
but
can talk about that real quick if you want.
yeah, it's not my label. That's the quickest way to go with it. It's my wife's and
Oh,
manager's
really?
label.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's Claire's label, which she's called Burnt Out Records, and that is how that came about. It didn't form to release Heavy Petting stuff. It's just that we were we were putting it out so the Burnt Out Rec stuff was going to
Hmm.
come out in Burnt Out Records,
Okay.
and then the offer was there to, you know, we she took it and that was that. So she put them out, you know.
Oh,
Um,
super. Well, at least
yeah,
they're out there. That's great.
yeah, you can't get Letting Loose because Letting Loose sold, and you know there's no more in the foreseeable future getting
Oh,
into it again, you know.
yeah,
So
because you had a license. These are still licensed through what, Universal or whatever.
oh, most definitely, yes.
Yeah, they still
I
have the
would,
license.
you wouldn't like to know about Heavy Petting and Universal, but never mind. That's for
Well, yeah, that's a
another
whole
day.
other show. Well, anyway, they're out there. I just thought I'd mention it in case,
Yes,
heck,
yes.
why not? It's great stuff. The thing is, I don't think that your heavy petting ever really took off in the States. I don't ever remember anything. Did you ever tour over here back in the day?
Yeah,
Like in the,
definitely. And
you
in
did.
84, we came over, we toured with Saxon, Accept, Motley
Okay.
Crue, you know, we
God,
done
I'm sure
Rat.
that I'm sure that was a wild period.
We done a club tour with Rat. That was, I think that was the most exciting part, really, you know,
Hmm.
going out, it'd be Heavy Petting on first, then Accept, and then Saxon on the
Holy
Crusader
crap.
tour, you know, and for us that blew our minds because
Yeah.
we came from Glasgow, and just all of a sudden, here we are, and we're in America, and playing in the 10,000
Oh
seater
my
stadiums
God.
or whatever, or people stadiums, you know.
Just
So
can't
it was
imagine.
great fun, yeah. And done a club tour with that, and like I say, and that was just very enjoyable. And then we got on to what the Shout at the Devil tour. So
Mhm.
you know we were on that. We Accept as well, and obviously Multi Crew, and that was just ridiculous. It's really the
Well,
only
you
one that I could
survived it.
use
I'll give it
for.
that. You're still here to talk about it,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's a whole show in itself too.
Is it? Yeah.
Anyway, Heavy Petting, we broke up in 80, what, about 89? Is that when you guys called it a day?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely 89 after the Big Bang, the third album, you know, and we broke up, and Hammy went off to America, and we stayed here, and myself
Mhm.
and Gordon formed another band called Mother's Ruin, and sort of just done through the 90s, just here
Mhm.
and there, gigs here and there, you know, and just
Right.
so
But
writing
you
songs,
did,
that kind of thing.
yeah, did you just keep on writing all through that? I mean, because like you were on all over this Heavy Petting stuff. And of course, like on the new record, I mean, it's pretty much your baby. I'm just curious. You just, I guess once you're a writer, I'm sure you probably just kept writing. I don't know. Just curious.
Well, you do because you can't stop, you know, it's like
Right.
you can't stop, you know, it just happens, you know. I mean, I got this thing the other day. You
What's
can
that,
look
an
at it, yeah.
SG?
Yeah,
Nice.
you know, and it was £30, you know,
Mm-hmm.
right, which is nothing. It's not a Gibson, but it's a copy, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, what did
and
you pick? I know this is jumping the gun. We're talking songwriting, but there's no way you can do this in an hour hardly. When did you pick up guitar? When did that
well,
happen? Were you
well,
playing it?
that happened back when I was what 12, 13 as well, and
Okay.
you know, because you know, I had an old beat up acoustic with two or three
Mm-hmm.
strings on it, and you know, and obviously writing songs as we did when we were that age, myself and Gordon, and Gordon showed me some chords, and then again, you just go away and start doing it, and you figure it out. Where are they
Mm-hmm.
going? All right, they're going up here. So, and then
And
that was it. So that started that.
I'm assuming that's what you write on then, or do you have play piano or anything like that?
I can play keyboards, but
Mm-hmm.
not great, you know. But I can add keyboards to a track if I have to,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And especially with the computers these days, you know, it's far easier, you know.
Yeah, you could do Garage Band or there's different programs. I don't do any of that, but I'm
Yeah,
aware of it. But yeah,
yeah.
now it's a lot different. It's a different world, you know.
Well, that's how I write. I just pick the guitar up,
Mm-hmm.
just put in a straight beat, you know, and nothing fancy, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll have the basic idea going, and then I'll just have the whole song. Don't put any drums in it apart from just a
Mm-hmm.
straight beat, you know, and you know, because why bother? It's just a waste of time, you know, until you go
Well,
in
it's
the
a
studio.
demo, you just want
Yeah,
the
until you
band to
go in the
learn it or
studio.
whatever. Yeah.
That's right, yeah, and then knock it out and see what happens.
So anyway, band broke up, blah blah blah. Time goes by,
Yeah,
and eventually you
families.
start out this band, Burnt Out Wreck. How'd that come about? Because
Yeah,
wasn't it really you? What I read, I just want to make sure I read that right. You were doing a lot of this yourself, playing guitar, playing the drums. Was it
on the
on the
first album.
first one, right?
Yeah.
It's basically all you're like the Foo Fighters first records, like where it's all Dave Grohl. Um, you're like another Todd Rundgren doing everything your own way.
Well, you know, it's a curse, isn't it? You know,
Well, when you
but
can play, you can write, you can sing. I mean,
yeah,
holy
yeah,
crap,
yeah.
Gary, you're like a machine.
The only thing I don't do is play lead guitar. You know, I can do little bits, but I can't.
You could get by.
I don't get anything fancy going.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
I mean, what was it? Did you get to one point part of your life and you went, you know what? I think it's time to put out something. Is that what happened or what?
yeah, yeah. Just pulled out a bag of songs from under the bed as you do,
Hmm.
and said, you know, they can't stay there and I die and nobody gets to hear the songs, you know.
Mhm.
I didn't die back in '89, you know, when Heavy Pettin split up,
No,
you
you
know.
kept going.
You know, there's so many songs from keep coming at me. But anyway, so that's what I decided, and I thought, right, into the studio, 2016,
Mhm.
booked a studio, met Steve, as we know, we spoke about that, and yeah, just decided to go for it. And I played drums on about 5 of the tracks, and Mick played drums on 5 or 6 of the tracks.
Mhm.
I can't remember now how many's on it, but yeah, Mick ended up. He's the drummer that's in Heavy Pettin at the moment. You know, he was in a band, our band Mother's Ruin, for years, so he was there and kicking about. So that's how, you know, he ended up with a job there. But anyway, so I got him in to do that, and he done half of it, and then that was that, and I done the other half. I played bass, played all the rhythm guitar, done all the vocals, and you know, you know, and all the backing vocals, and just that's how it came about, and yeah, put it out, and everybody said, "Oh, here's the drummer from Heavy Pettin."
Well, look,
Not,
there he is.
you know, and then said, "He's bloody good," you know, and you go, "What were you expecting?" Like, you know, were you somebody
Well, they were
grunting in the
probably thinking,
background?
well, they probably thought, well, this doesn't sound anything like Heavy Pettin, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
They
that's
were
all right. You've got to do you. You've got to be who you are, you know. But I mean,
yeah.
those vocals that I don't remember here. Did you do any vocals back in the 80s? I mean, you did background vocals, but did you sing lead on anything back
Not
then?
no, not on any other
Man,
tracks. No,
man, that's too bad.
no. I mean, you know, I was songwriting, obviously. You know, I mean, Rock Ain't Dead's Mines. You know, it's like that's from me.
Well,
Uh,
like on the
Love Dimes
first
Love is
record, I
Mines.
mean, on Swallow, were you anticipating doing the vocals on that originally, or were you looking maybe to have someone sing that, but then you get in here, you already did the rough vocal, and you're going,
Nah.
you were just gonna do it.
Oh no, I knew it was Mines. You know,
Okay.
from 91, 92, when we started the other band
Yeah.
after as we say, Heavy Pettin sort of. From 91, 92, that I was writing the songs with Gordon, and I was singing it because I was making up these melodies and stuff and thinking, well, this is all right, isn't it? You know, so we just said, okay, I was going to play drums, but then I just said, nah, forget it. I'll sing it because we'll never find another singer, you know.
No,
So
no, no. You need to keep singing.
yeah, exactly.
Like I
So
said.
that's where that went.
So well, people know because I'm gonna have graphics up of who you are and what we're talking about. But we're talking about Gary, and we've got Gary here, and we're looking at Burnt Out Wreck. We're gonna be talking about the latest album that came out in November. We're a little late here on this channel, but hey, better late than never, you know. But so you did the first album, and then I know you had to put a band together because there was really no band. When did that come around on the second record? Or
Um,
what was this? You did the second record, This Is Hell. What was the I'm still waiting for that one. I don't have that one. So
oh, you don't?
no,
Uh,
I see it's gonna come out on Amazon on CD like in May.
oh, is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. That's a distribution thing. You know, we just recently got a new
Oh,
distributor,
okay.
you know, and
Well, I'm
there was
waiting for it anyway. So
yeah, and so I've recently just taken a whole batch of stuff to them and sent it, and they'll be sending it off around the world, you know. So I know that it's turned up in quite a few different countries, or it's going to be,
okay.
um, because people have told me, "Oh, I see this is happening, like yourself tonight." Yeah,
Hmm.
but you know, yeah, the band came about a month after the first record
Okay.
was recorded, because obviously it, it it was so unexpected what happened, because everybody just sort of went, "Oh, boom, this is great. You need to
Yeah.
put a band together. You need to get
Yeah.
on stage with us. You need to," and I'm like, "Oh man."
It's just like coming at you full tilt.
Yeah,
I get it.
where do I find this band? You know. So
Mhm.
anyway, the word went out, and we got everybody that we ended up got, auditioned quite a few people here and there, and it was all such a rush because that was near the end of obviously 2016, and we had this uh, festival gig booked for January
Mhm.
in 2017. So we had to get a band together, and so we were rehearsing like crazy, you know, and the bass player lives 350 miles away. So, you know, and everybody's just back and forth, and we're trying to do 2 rehearsals a week and just the usual band stuff, the story
Mhm.
of many bands. But we got it done, and that was that. So, yeah, so then the band that became the live band when it came to 2019, we went in and recorded "This Is Hell,"
Mhm.
and so they're playing on that. You know, I'm not playing drums on that. Paul's playing drums on that. Mr.
And you're
Paul
good
Gray.
with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just knocked it back and forth between each other, you know, and just do this, do this, do this. I
Mhm.
had this idea for that. He had that idea, and then put it all together, and
So it's
yeah,
a
great.
collaboration. That's
Yeah,
hey, that's the best way.
well, yeah. When you do hear "This Is Hell," if you haven't done, I know you've not got it, but doesn't stop you
I could go
hearing
check it out, but
it.
I'm
but
just Gary, I'm just not a streaming kind of person. It's just
aye,
I
aye,
I
I
like
know.
physical media, you know. Give me a CD or give me an album. And I'd rather support the band that way, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just old school. I can't help it, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But
there's
I've got
many,
it
many
on
people
order.
like that.
So, but you know, I'm in. I'm in.
Right.
Um,
Look, that's great.
I was gonna say,
Lovely.
but on the records, you've got Richard and Andy both playing guitar.
No,
No,
no, sorry. Andy came to the studio, but he had just joined the band, so he was too late to be on the new album. His
on
name's in there,
okay.
and his picture's in it, but that's because we're just saying, "Hi, everybody, this is Andy," you know, and
Hmm.
so but he did make it to the recording studio after driving the 350 mile with Al. Appeared in the studio. Al jumped on his bass and played the whole the whole album in about 4 or 5 hours. And I think Andy fell asleep in the couch at the back of the studio room
Oh
whilst all
God.
that was happening.
So is all the lead stuff? Is that Richard playing?
That's Mr. Richard Upson, and
Holy crap! How wow. That's all
yeah,
I'm gonna say.
he's some guitar player, you know. Yeah, it's
I just want to say he's very fluid, if that makes sense.
oh
When he
yeah, definitely.
plays, it's very the notes just kind of how do I want to put it? It's fluid for God's sakes. I just it almost reminds me of way Neil Schon of Journey kind of, you know,
Yeah,
he can just
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't you any guitar players out there, you really listen to Richard Upson. I swear to God, he's like I don't know. Where did you find him? Did he audition or what?
Well, no, it just happened that we were looking for a new guitar player just as we went into lockdown in
Mm,
2020.
okay.
And we were looking for a new guitar player, and Steve Rispin said to me, "Look, I think I know just the man, um, you know." And he put me in touch with Rich, and he came over when we could, which was quite a few months. And
Mhm.
I said to him, "Yeah, that's great. Let's do this." And so he's learning stuff. He's learning the stuff. So he was learning "This Is Hell" because it came out
That was what
the
was
year
out.
before.
Yeah.
So he's learning that, and then lockdown just kept going and kept going, and then in between all that, I'm writing all this new stuff for Stand and Fight, obviously, and I'm sending it to him, and I'm blowing his mind because he's got too much to learn, and he said, what's happening? So,
Well,
but it all worked out great in the end because when we got him in the studio, everybody has nerves in the studio, and once we got him settled down, yeah, like you say, just out it comes, and You just sit
Yeah,
there,
it's
you just
pretty.
sit smiling at it, because it's just like, for me, it's amazing, because I know the songs inside out because I've written every blooming single part of it, and then all of a sudden he starts playing this crazy lead guitar over it, and I
Yeah.
just sit there beaming, going, "Oh well, yeah, that'll do for me, mate." That's all.
Yeah, not much I could add to that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
is he's incredible. Well, the whole
aye.
band though,
Yeah, yeah, they are.
they're uh they're like a machine. I'll
Yes,
leave it at
they're
that.
very good. They're very good.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get the chance to do another one, and then yeah, see how that goes. And Andy will be on that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. This though, this came out like in November of last year. Did you guys get to do much touring or promotion behind that, or are you still
No,
doing anything? I don't.
that's right. Yeah, we have played some gigs. Yeah, we did play some gigs last year. Um, and then obviously we went in and recorded that. We recorded that album. When did we record? 2021. So
Okay.
it took about a year because of changing companies and stuff. But it took about a year all in all to get that to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But in 22, yeah, we played, I'd say, about a handful of gigs probably. But we tend to play at sort of these festival type things. Not
Well,
the massive ones, but big enough.
well, if you play that festival thing, you get a lot of people can get exposed to
But that's right.
you guys.
Especially the way things are these days, with finances and venues shutting down. It's just like
Yeah.
it's a crazy time. But anyway, enough of that. That's doom and
No,
gloom.
but
That stuff.
that is doom and gloom, but it is just the way it
I
is.
know.
And a lot of these festival shows, that seems to be where everything's going
Yeah.
to some
So
degree.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, we've got quite a fair few gigs every month. Starting in when is it? June, I think. April. Actually, April.
Well,
I'm
we're damn near in April.
Yeah, April, May,
Mhm.
June, July. We've got gigs. We got August. There's some in August, and then there's a couple of festivals. Um, Hard Rock Hell, I think it is, and that's probably at the end of the year, probably Novemberish time. There's another couple of things in between, and we're getting offered gigs here, there, and everywhere.
Mhm.
Keeps coming in,
Well,
but it's just
good.
it's just whether we can get everybody rounded up. The usual story.
Mhm.
Life goes on. Apart from everybody thinks you all live in a in a bus
Like
somewhere, and you can
it's
just
like the
take off.
monkeys. Everybody lives in the same house on the beach.
Yeah, the bloody Partridge Family. Off
The
they go.
Partridge Family bus. Yeah, that's burnout wreck. We all live in this bus all day. Well, when you recorded the latest record, did was everybody in the one studio? Or did people phone in their parts? How did you? Because it sounds very live to me, and I
Yeah,
love that type of thing. So I'm just curious.
yeah. No, it's all layered. But there's no
Hmm.
phone. None of that phone in rubbish. No,
Good.
that's crazy stuff. That's crazy talk. We like to go into a studio, a proper studio,
Hmm.
set a good a good basic sound going,
Hmm.
and basically play along to the demo.
Hmm.
Take the drums out of the demo, and then play along to the demo with a click in the demo, and so that Paul knows where he is and what's going on,
Hmm.
and do it that way. So then we get the drums and then start adding, like on this record, there's strictly I'm on the right playing rhythm guitar.
Okay.
Rich is on the left playing rhythm guitar, and then Rich is playing all the lead guitar on the whole album that you can hear. So
Hmm.
that's it. There's no other added on guitars. It's like that's how it goes.
Well, I want to say though that the guitar sounds on this record are absolute. We already talked about Richard's playing, but the rhythm parts, the guitars sound great on this record.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rich plays through an Eddie Van Halen.
One of
You
those.
know,
Hmm.
and I play through a Black Star Series 150 watt. and a 2x12, and you know, I just plug straight into it because I just play rhythm. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've got no pedals. I've got no interest. I just like what's coming
Just
out
go
of
and
that
direct
amplifier.
and
I like what's coming
let it
out of
take
there.
care of
You know,
itself.
and it came out, and you know, and Rich was saying to me, "I think I'll get one of them." And I'm like, "No, you won't. I've got one of them. You're not getting it. You just leave it alone. You stay with your Eddie Van Halen."
Yeah, that Eddie Van Halen, that should be just plenty.
Oh yeah, it sounds awesome, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, so that's what we used in the studio this time anyway, and which is different from before. So yeah,
Hmm.
but we'll see what you make of this as hell when you hear it. So that'll be fun for you.
Yeah. Well, are you? I'm sure you're doing writing. You think I mean, if you guys are if you put out another record, when would you like to do that, or any plans for that, or?
Well, like I say, that SG that I just showed you, you know,
Mhm.
that has just because I got that and I was just so taken by it that I've got about 4 tunes came out of that. So one of them's going around my head like it won't leave me at the moment, and so that's definitely going to be a good one, and it's going to be there. But it's that earworm that just no matter what you do, you can't shift the chorus, you know. So
But it's kind of cool though, because if you can get like a new guitar or something that can, your creativity just kind of takes off.
yeah,
And I've heard stories. I don't know if it's Johnny Marr. Who was it? I've heard other people where I think it was Johnny Marr bought some guitar like at Manny's in New York or whatever.
yeah,
It was a 335 or a 345 or something.
yeah,
And as soon as he played it, song came right out, and he
yeah,
doesn't can't you can't you can't
yeah.
explain it.
From
So I
where?
can see that. Look at you. You got this guitar, 4 tracks came out.
Well, that's right. You know, I
That's
mean,
amazing.
I mean, I got Gibsons, I got PRS guitars. You know, it's like, and I seen that advertised, and I thought, £30. I'm going to go and get that, and I brought it home. And the funny thing is, I tuned down to D.
Oh,
No,
really?
I'm not an E standard tuning, um, not for a long, not for a long time,
Mhm.
not since the '80s, I don't think. But so when I got it, it was in E, it was in standard tuning, it was an
Mhm.
E, and I think that's what done it. As soon as I plugged it in to my little recorder here that I've
Mhm.
got, it just sang to me, and I thought, "Oh, that's different, isn't it? That's really nice." And out came these riffs, so that was great.
Holy crap.
Yeah, the things
Well,
that happen to you when you don't expect it.
right. Well, it's a blessing. Because what would you do if you got to that point and nothing would come out? You'd go, shit. So much
That's
for the
right.
next record.
Yeah, yeah. I go and
But
ride my motorbike. That's what I'd
I'm
do.
gonna ride my motorbike instead.
Yeah,
So if people at the end, I'm just gonna let everybody know. I'm gonna play a couple of snippets from Stand and Fight so everybody just gets a sample of it. But
okay.
Gary, where you might as well tell the people, where can they pick this up? Amazon, you can stream it.
You can stream it everywhere. Definitely. It's on all platforms. But yeah, I think that as for sale, I think yeah, it's probably Amazon's the
Yeah.
main thing, or directly from Cadiz Music here in the UK, which is the
Okay.
distributors. Um, Depending on where you are in the world, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in the US, so I'm kind of stuck. But like I said, uh uh brain problem. Uh shit, I'm gonna have to edit that. Oh, what the second record? Give me help me. Hell. I'm
This is
gonna have
hell.
oh shit. Brain. Sorry.
This is hell.
Yeah. But like I told you before, all right, 3, 2, 1. But like I said before, This Is Hell is coming out because you had a distribution update or a new distributor.
Yeah.
So it's going to be out in May. So it's going to be available then. But yeah, I don't know. Is the first record still available? I'm just
Yes, definitely.
Swallow
Swallow's
still
still
okay,
there.
good.
Yeah, that'll be the. I've taken some of that down as well, and obviously the new one is out and about. So
So is there any
yeah.
chances you guys will ever get over here to play any gigs in the States?
Yeah, I'd love to. You know, I mean, I see, there's a lot of bands coming over here all the time.
Hmm.
And like, it's like for us, it's you'll see bands coming over and they don't bring anything with them from the US, right?
Yeah, they have to like rent everything because it's too
But
expensive.
yeah, but what they want to do is they want to come from there, and then they want a support band to come support them,
Hmm.
but they want to use the support band's gear, and then they give a list of demands of the standard of the gear that they want, and then they don't want to. You don't get paid. Say you get £100 a night as a support band, right?
Mm-hmm.
For using your gear, and you're going to be there until they've finished playing, and then you've got to pack the gear up, and then you've got to go. How many hotels? How many? You've got 5 guys in 50s and 60s going
Hmm.
around Britain on a tour.
Hmm.
It's like, no, thank you.
Right.
I cannot do that. Well, we are daft or something. Blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah,
I
blah.
get you.
So for us to come over there and do that over there, you
It'd be a
know,
lot. It'd be a lot.
under the circumstances in the world at the moment, that is, would be just, yeah, it would just cost a lot. I mean, if we could fly over there for a weekend, play 2 cracking gigs somewhere, obviously,
It would have to be worthwhile if it was like a big festival show where you'd get a lot of exposure. I know, I don't know.
aye,
What do I know?
I know, but it's the same as everything, isn't it?
Mhm.
You don't get nothing for nothing, so you have to be laying out money to get on it in the first
Yeah.
place. So, and unfortunately, the story of a rock and roll musician is bloody don't bother being one, because all you're doing is giving your money to everybody else constantly. Doom and gloom again, but sorry.
Hmm. Well, it's the reality,
Yeah, yeah. I know it's never changed. Never changed. You go back to the AC/DC Bon Scott
Oh yeah.
lyrics, and he's
Hmm.
singing about it then, and they were singing about it before.
Right.
Before
No,
AC/DC.
it's true. I mean, well, Bond, well, they think about it. Highway to Hell was a big record, but how long after that came out did he pass away? Did he ever really see anything? Because they weren't really that big until that record. You know what I mean? They weren't like really well known. I remember having the High Voltage album when I was a kid. What was that, 78 maybe?
Mhm.
I don't know. But they weren't like really big what they became. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
may never really ever really saw like, you know, major,
Money.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know. Back in Black
well,
kind of did it, so I don't, who knows what happened? I don't know.
yeah. Well, apparently it was called Back in the Black
Hmm.
instead of Being in the Red.
There you go.
So there you go.
Well,
Enough
Gary,
said.
enough said. I guess we've covered it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We kind of went through your whole life in an hour.
Oh, it's not my whole life.
Well,
My
you know what I mean.
goodness. And life goes on.
It goes on. But Burnt Out
Hope.
Wreck, Stand and Fight. Holy mackerel. I'm going to play a couple clips and you guys can take it all in. But yeah, this is available on Amazon. If you're over in the UK, you can probably get it through the distributor, like Gary says. It's out there, and the other records are available. And like we talked about before, Heavy Pettin, they're out there too. So if you want to pick those up, here's like a best of that's on Cherry Red. This is really good. It sounds good too. It's not all jacked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, you're saying Cherry Red. So Cherry Red was the distributor. So they
Okay.
are no more. So
Okay.
yeah, it's on Burnout Records, but they were the distributor. So.
Okay. Got it.
But yeah, but you can get them out there anyway if anybody's interested in grabbing one. Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, anyway, is there anything else you want to hit before we wrap this up?
No, not at all. We've done all the stuff about gigs and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you've went through every single album of
Oh,
my life.
well,
Just very
I
good,
love
very
it.
good. Well
And
done.
I don't just do this stuff. I'm just surprised. I think this was meant to be because I think the new record, I think Stand and Fight's absolutely, and I just don't say that. I'm very particular, but I think there's not one weak track on it. The songwriting's top notch. And you've been songwriting since the 80s, so it's not like you don't know what you're doing. Catchy. Like I said, this thing should be on FM rock radio in rotation.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
mackerel. You'd fit
yeah.
right in with anything. I mean, it's just the perfect record. And you know what? When I first heard it, it was just so refreshing. After
Yeah,
hearing all the all the crap
yeah,
that's out there,
yeah, yeah.
it's very refreshing. And it
it'd be
was
great.
great talking to you too.
Yeah, it'd be great if they caught up with some of the newer stuff that's going on. That
Mm-hmm.
and sort of like you say, it sounds like that, so it would blend in well with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unlike quite a lot of things, it's just too angry. And no, I'm angry by the way, obviously,
Well,
as you can tell.
all right, Gary, we're talking about, Stand and Fight. I have a question about the album artwork. I've noticed like on all your releases, the artwork on these records are just absolutely incredible. What's this? Do you have you buddies? Do you do hell? You're a songwriter, guitar player, singer. Hell, you're probably doing the artwork. So I was just pick your brain about is there like a buddy of yours that's doing them, but I mean it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it's a man called Andy Pinkleton, that's done Stand and Fight. We sent him the track, said
Mhm.
this is the title track. What do you make of that? And he came back with that cover.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
and we just looked at it and just said, "Yeah, it's amazing."
Mhm.
What can you say? I like the hammer touch. It's like smash it to bits. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, he done that. He done the video for Stand and Fight, and
That's fabulous.
he's a very talented young man, and yeah, he's done many big, massive bands videos and covers. Yeah, so
Well, I was going to mention, I'm going to
dope man.
link the video to down here in the description, and I'll put links in there to where they can pick up these records or
Yeah,
CDs or
yeah,
whatever. Because, everybody on this channel already knows that I'm all about, you know, not a streamer, like I said. I like physical media. So I'd
yeah,
rather sell physical media and help the bands, get it out there that way. But
yeah,
yeah, I was just curious about the album covers because the artwork is the whole thing's just great package. It's just beautiful. I'll
yeah.
just leave it at that.
Yeah, they've all been great. They've
Yeah.
all been great covers. So yeah, the other guy that done the first two, I think his name's Mark Leary, and again, that's another talented man. So yeah, we've been very blessed that way, I must say.
Excellent.
There's
Cool.
no fighting, no arguing. It's just, what do you think? Oh yeah, that's stunning. Let's go with that then.
Oh, excellent.
Can't argue with it.
No. Gary Moat. What
Well,
can I say?
thank you very much for having me. As I say,
This was fun. This was a fun
it's
discussion.
it's been wonderful.
I'm looking forward to hearing more stuff down the road.
Well, yeah, let's hope we have the opportunity.
Well, on that note, we're going to end it. All right, Gary, I appreciate it. If something else comes down the road you want to promote or just come
Yeah.
on and all right, man. Well, thanks a lot. It's been a fun interview and
Yeah.
hey, have a good one.
Thank you.
the internet. Stand and fight. Hiding in the shadows. Stand and fight. I can see you.